At my anniversary party, my son's wife said, "Your stories are boring. No one wants to hear about your life." She turned up the music to drown my voice. My son stood watching her dance. I sat in the corner and said, "You'll be speechless when you hear what's still left to say." I worked for 38 years as an electrician in Baltimore. Union guy. I paid my dues, kept my head down, raised my kids, and tried to give them the kind of life I never had. I didn't grow up with much. My father died when I was 12, and my mother worked 2 cleaning jobs just to keep us fed. I never asked for anything special. Not then and not now. So when my son offered to throw us a 40th anniversary party, I didn't expect anything extravagant. A few family members, some food, maybe a cake. That's it. But I should have known better. He let Talia plan everything. Talia has always treated me like I'm some old relic she has to tolerate. She never liked that I talk about the past. I guess stories about working double shifts in the winter to keep the heat on don't impress someone who thinks a hard day is 5 back-to-back Zoom calls. But that's the thing. Those stories are my life. That's who I am. That's what built the house she now eats brunch in. I tried with her. I really did. When they first started dating, I took her out for coffee, tried to make her feel welcome. I helped them move. I even offered to pay off one of her student loans when they got married. She said no, told me they had it handled, but I found out later she told my son she didn't want me involved in their finances. Said I was too old-fashioned. At the party, I noticed her early on, watching the clock, checking her phone, barely saying 2 words to me. She had her little group of friends from work there. Loud, laughing, drinking wine like it was a college mixer. I stayed in the background, smiled through it all. My wife was happy, and that's what mattered to me. Then it came time to speak. My wife gave me a little nod, and I stood up. I had a short story ready, something light, just a memory about our first apartment and how we used to listen to records on a milk crate stereo. I thought it would get a chuckle. I got 2 sentences in. Talia walked across the room, pressed a button on the speaker, and blasted some pop garbage, so loud my ears rang. People flinched, and then she turned to me, while dancing, smiling, and said, "Your stories are boring. No one wants to hear about your life." Like I was a joke. Like I was some clown who just couldn't read the room. She turned back around, started dancing like nothing happened. My son, my only son, stood by the kitchen island, drink in hand, and just watched. No reaction. No defense. No respect. I sat down. I didn't know what else to do. My wife sat beside me, and for the first time in a long time, I saw tears in her eyes. She kept squeezing my hand like she was trying to hold me together. I could feel people looking at me, but nobody said anything. It was like the moment passed, and everyone just let it pass. That's when I whispered it. She'll be speechless when she hears what's still left to say. Because there's more. So much more. My son doesn't know I co-signed their second mortgage after she messed up their first home loan. Doesn't know I bailed them out behind the scenes, so his credit wouldn't tank. Doesn't know she told my wife behind my back that we shouldn't expect to see the grandkids much because we're too depressing to be around. He doesn't know she's been siphoning money from their joint business account into a separate LLC she opened under her maiden name. But I know. I have proof. Emails, tax records, voice messages, and a copy of a prenup my son never read fully when I warned him about before the wedding, but he let her handle. I've stayed silent for years. I kept my mouth shut to keep the peace. But that silence made her bold. Made her forget who she's messing with. That party wasn't the end. That was just the trigger. After the party, I barely spoke. Dishes got cleaned, guests trickled out, and the music finally stopped. My wife and I sat there in the quiet house, the one we built brick by brick, paycheck by paycheck, while Talia laughed in the kitchen with her friends. Like nothing happened. My son never said a word to me that night. Not thanks for coming, not sorry about earlier, not even happy anniversary. He just left with her, her hand in his back pocket like she owned him. That was Saturday. By Tuesday, I had a plan. I didn't want revenge right away. I wanted truth. Cold, clear truth. And I wanted my son to hear it from me. So I called him and asked to meet one-on-one. No wives, no kids. Just us. He hesitated, said they were busy, but I pushed. Said it was important. Said I had some things I needed to clear up. We met at a diner off York Road the next day. He looked tired, nervous even, like he knew something was coming. I didn't waste time. I laid it out plain. Talia's been moving money into an LLC under her name. It's not tied to your joint business account. She registered it in Delaware last year. He blinked hard. What? I've got the documents. Your name's not on a single one. She's listed as sole owner and executive. She's also been meeting with a divorce attorney in Ellicott City. Twice in the last month. Same guy her friend Jenna used. He looked like I punched him in the chest. I warned you before the wedding. Remember? I said that prenup she handed you last minute didn't feel right. You signed it without reading Clause 6. Want to know what that one says? He didn't answer. I pulled out a copy. It says if you initiate the divorce, she gets the house and full control of the business. But if she initiates, she gets nothing. 0. He took it and stared at the line I'd highlighted. His hands were shaking. She's trying to provoke you, I said. Push you to break first. He just sat there, breathing heavy. Didn't even touch his coffee. Then he said it. Why didn't you tell me this sooner? I leaned forward. Because you stopped listening a long time ago. He left the diner in silence. I watched him go. I didn't feel proud. I felt empty. But things didn't stop there. That same night, Talia called my wife, screaming. Said I was trying to sabotage their marriage, said I was meddling like a bitter old man, and told her I better back off before things get ugly. Then came the texts. Nasty ones. From her number, from her friends. Someone egged our mailbox 2 days later. Childish stuff, but loud. Threatening. My wife wanted me to stop. Let it go, she said. Don't make it worse. But that's the thing. I didn't make this worse. They did. My son still hasn't called since that diner. And Talia? She doubled down. Posted a long Instagram rant about toxic in-laws, hinting we were abusive. Friends started backing away. Neighbors avoided eye contact. She's not just trying to silence me. She's trying to erase me. Make me the villain in a story she's rewriting from scratch. But she forgot one thing. I'm not done talking yet. I didn't react right away to the threats or the mailbox. I let them think I was backing down. That's what Talia wanted, to scare me into silence. But I was still watching, still listening. A week later, my daughter called. She doesn't get involved in drama. She's quieter, always the peacekeeper. But this time her voice was tight, serious. Dad, I heard something from someone who used to work with Talia. I don't know if it's true, but she paused. She's been meeting with a man, repeatedly, not a lawyer, a guy named Shane, supposedly used to date him years ago. The old coworker said they've been meeting in DC at hotels. My blood ran cold. I said nothing for a few seconds. My daughter went on nervously. I'm not saying anything yet. I just thought you should know. That night, I started digging again. Not just financials, movement, travel records. I still had access to certain accounts my son never closed properly. Old logins he reused. I pulled hotel receipts, gas station charges, even toll road payments. There were trips. 5 of them in the last 3 months. All on days she told my son she had client retreats. I cross-referenced the hotel check-ins with another name, Shane R. Buckner. His name showed up 3 times on the same invoices. 2 different hotels. 2 different cities. Both billed to a corporate card under her LLC. This wasn't just infidelity. It was calculated. She was using her company, his company, to pay for it. So I did what I knew best. I printed it all, organized it, created a file. Then I mailed it. Not to my son. Not yet. I sent it to her boss. Talia's real job wasn't just marketing. She managed accounts for high-profile political campaigns in the DC metro area. Reputation mattered. Conduct clauses were in her contract. Using corporate time and resources for personal relationships? That was a landmine. 3 days later, she was suspended. Pending investigation. The fallout started quick. Her name was removed from the company website. She deleted her Instagram. Her friends went silent. But here's the real twist. The day she was suspended, my son showed up at our house. He didn't knock, just walked in like he used to when he was a kid. His face was pale, eyes bloodshot. He dropped the folder I'd given him weeks earlier on our kitchen table. "You were right," he said, "about everything." Then he sat down and broke. He told me Talia had confronted him, blamed him for getting her caught, accused him of spying. She denied the affair at first, then admitted it, but spun it like it was his fault for being distant.
"She said I was boring," he said.
"That I turned into you. I didn't say a word. I just let him sit there, let it sink in. Then he said something that cut deeper than I expected. I didn't want to believe you, Dad. I didn't want to believe you could still be right after all this time." That's when I knew the final act hadn't even started yet. She's cornered now. Angry. Dangerous. But I'm not done. Not until the world sees who she really is. After that night at our kitchen table, I thought my son might finally step up. That maybe, just maybe, the truth had hit him hard enough to make him act. But I underestimated how deep her hooks went. A few days passed. Then a week. He moved back into their house. Said he needed time to think. Claimed he wanted to keep things stable for the kids. My wife believed him. I didn't. Because while he was thinking, Talia was moving. She hired a PR crisis firm. Not a lawyer. Not a marriage counselor. A goddamn spin team. They started scrubbing her online presence. Deleted articles, changed bios, flooded social media with soft, polished photos of her and the kids. She even posted a long, tearful video about forgiveness and co-parenting through betrayal, without ever saying who betrayed who. I knew the game. She was flipping the narrative, painting herself as the victim. Then came the real hit. She filed a harassment complaint against me. Sent a formal letter through her firm, accusing me of stalking, unsolicited monitoring, and reputational sabotage. It was delivered by courier. Sealed. Looked official. My wife panicked. Thought I'd done something illegal. I hadn't. Everything I'd gathered was public record or shared with someone directly impacted. I followed the law. But Talia didn't care about the law. She cared about optics. About leverage. I tried calling my son. No answer. Then I called his office. They said he was on extended leave. I knew something was wrong, so I drove to their house.
Parked a block away.
Watched from a distance. What I saw made my stomach turn. A moving truck. Talia wasn't leaving.
He was.
He came out with 2 suitcases and a trash bag full of clothes. No kids. No boxes. No kiss goodbye. Just a silent walk to his car. I followed him, kept my distance, waited until he pulled into the old apartment on Delaney Valley Road. The one he lived in before they married. He sat in the car for 10 minutes before going in. I didn't confront him. Not yet. That night, I got a call from a blocked number. I answered. It was Talia. "You think you've won?" she said, voice low and slow. "All you've done is make him weak. But I'll rebuild. You'll rot in that sad little house with your sad little stories." Then she hung up. My wife was in the next room. She didn't hear it. I sat there alone, staring at the wall. The war was still going, and I wasn't finished yet. Because I'd been holding on to one last piece. Something I hadn't shown anyone, not even my son. A video. Security footage from a hotel in Bethesda. Clear timestamp. Her.
Shane. Kissing in the lobby.
Walking upstairs together. Laughing. Holding hands. Every second recorded. It wasn't from the hotel system. That would have been illegal to access. It came from a private investigator. One I quietly hired months ago when things first started to feel off. I kept it locked away, thinking maybe it was too much.
But now?
Now it was time to show the world exactly who Talia really was. I waited until the right moment. Talia thought she had control. Thought I was some washed-up father-in-law trying to play detective. But she forgot something. People like her always underestimate quiet men. I met my son at the diner again. Same booth. He looked like hell. Worn out, pale, barely sleeping. She filed harassment against me. I told him. His face dropped. What? She's making a case. Wants me silenced. Thinks if she pushes hard enough, I'll back off. He clenched his jaw. I slid the flash drive across the table.
Play this.
Watch it all.
Don't speak.
Just watch. He went home. I waited. 3 hours later, he showed up at our door. I'm done, he said. This time it's over.
And he meant it.
He called a lawyer, not the cheap one he used for their house. A sharp woman in Annapolis. She looked over the prenup, the LLC records, the PI footage, and the harassment letter. Her eyes lit up.
We're going on offense, she said.
First came the cease and desist. Sent to her PR firm. Included the footage. Made it clear if she didn't withdraw her harassment claim, we'd go public with everything. Then came the court filings. My son didn't just file for divorce. He sued her for misappropriation of business funds, breach of contract, and defamation. That prenup? That clause she added to protect herself if he initiated? Her affair nullified it. The lawyer tore it apart line by line. The footage went to her employer. They didn't just fire her, they blacklisted her. The political world's tight in DC, and nobody wants a scandal magnet. Especially not one with footage. Her business?
Gone.
Shut down within a week. Clients pulled out. Bank account frozen mid-audit. IRS got involved. Not because of me, because her own accountant flagged inconsistent filings. I didn't even have to report her. She buried herself. She tried to fight back. Claimed the footage was fake. Claimed I manipulated my son. But her voicemail, the emails, the hotel receipts, they all told